In any high-stakes professional setting, a negotiation, a big team meeting, how confident are you that you know what people are really thinking? Let's be honest, the ability to read people isn't just a nice-to-have skill anymore. It's a game changer. So this is your guide to seeing past the words and getting to the truth.
Everything we're going to talk about is built on this one simple idea. You see, words can be chosen, they can be rehearsed, they can be manipulated. But the body, well, the body tells a way more honest story. It's constantly sending out these little signals that, if you know what to look for, reveal what's really going on inside.
Look, in the professional world, we all wear masks, right? The I'm confident mask, the I agree mask. But underneath all that, the truth is there. The real challenge is just learning how to see it. And the key isn't to just look harder, it's to completely change how you look.
Okay, so first things first. We have to adopt the mindset of an investigator. This isn't about being suspicious. It's about making a fundamental shift, moving from just passively seeing what's in front of you to actively observing every little detail.
Just look at the difference here. Seeing is passive. You hear the words, you see the person. We all do that. But observing? That's a whole different ballgame. It's active. You're not just hearing their answer, you're analyzing their energy, their posture, even the tiny hesitations in their voice. You're looking for the story underneath the story.
So here's the golden rule. You might want to write this one down. When a person's words and their body language don't match up, you always trust the body language. Words are a conscious choice. A lot of nonverbal stuff, it's just an unconscious reaction. It's like the little crack in the mask where the truth leaks out.
Okay, so how do you actually spot these signals? Well, here's the trick. Before you can identify what's weird or abnormal, you have to know what's normal for that person. This brings us to probably the single most important concept in reading people, establishing their baseline.
Think of a baseline as someone's behavioral fingerprint. It's how they normally act and talk when they're totally relaxed and not under any pressure. Without knowing this, you're just guessing. I mean, a fast talker might just be a fast talker, not a liar. Someone who doesn't make a lot of eye contact could just be shy. That context is absolutely everything.
So here's how you find it. It's actually pretty simple. You start a conversation about something totally neutral, the weather, weekend plans, the coffee in the break room, and while you're talking, you watch. How do they sit? How fast do they talk? Do they use their hands a lot? That relaxed state becomes your benchmark. Any deviation from this, once the conversation turns to something more serious, is what you need to pay attention to.
Right, so once you have that baseline, you can start looking for changes. But, and this is super important, you're not looking for a single tell, like a nose twitch or something. That's just stuff you see in movies. In the real world, you're looking for a cluster of signals that all show up around the same time, usually right after a specific question.
Let's take a smile, for instance. A real, genuine smile, sometimes called a Duchenne smile, it reaches all the way up to the eyes. You see those little crinkles at the corners? The whole face is involved. A fake smile, that's just a mouth movement. The eyes stay cold, totally disconnected. It's a mask, not a real emotion.
And you've got to pay close attention to the conversation flow. You ask a direct question. Do you get a direct answer? Or do they pivot, change the subject, or, my favorite, answer a question you didn't even ask? That kind of conversational dodge is a huge indicator they're trying to avoid something.
Here's another subtle but powerful clue, the level of detail. People who are trying to deceive you often think that adding more and more detail makes their story sound more convincing. So they just overload you with a mountain of irrelevant facts. It ends up feeling rehearsed and way too complicated, because it is. Truthful recall, it's usually a lot simpler. And this is the principle that ties all of this together. One signal is just a guess. Somebody crossing their arms, they might just be cold. But what if, right after you ask about the project budget, they suddenly cross their arms, avoid eye contact, and start giving you a super long, complicated answer? See? That's not a guess anymore. That's a pattern, and that's your lead.
All right, let's level up now. We're going to move beyond just simple deception and talk about active manipulation. This is the stuff you see in those really high-stakes deals. Sometimes people call them dark psychology tactics, and they're specifically designed to control you.
Just recognizing these tactics is half the battle. Guilt tripping is when they try to make you feel responsible for their problem to get an advantage. High-pressure tactics, the exploding offer that forces you to decide right now, that's designed to make you panic and not think clearly. And that inconsistent behavior, that's a classic. If someone is your best buddy only when they need a favor, that's not friendliness. It's a tool.
And this all brings us to the ultimate test. After all the observing and analyzing, the single most reliable way to judge a person's character is to look at the alignment or the misalignment between what they say and what they do.
We have all heard a promise exactly like this one. It's confident, it's reassuring, the words are perfect. But remember, the words are only half the story. The other half is what happens next.
And what often happens next is this: the gap. The empty space between the promise they made and the reality of what happened. This is where you find the truth.
So Tuesday comes, and it goes. The review isn't there, there was no email, no call, nothing to manage your expectations. And when you finally ask them about it, suddenly it's somebody else's fault. This gap between that confident promise and the complete failure to deliver tells you everything you need to know about their reliability.
This really highlights the core difference, doesn't it? Trustworthy people are consistent. Their actions line up with their words over time. Unreliable people are inconsistent. Their behavior just changes depending on their goals or what they want from you in that particular moment.
At the end of the day, this whole skill set isn't about becoming a human lie detector or being cynical about people. It's just about awareness. You're not looking for absolute proof to convict someone in your mind. You're just looking for recurring patterns of behavior that give you a much clearer, more honest picture of who you're really dealing with.
Ultimately, having this awareness is a kind of professional power. It lets you build stronger, real trust with the right people, and it protects your time and energy from the wrong ones. The goal isn't to become suspicious, it's to become discerning, to see people as they really are, not just as they want you to see them. So, just take a second and think. Who in your professional life deserves a closer, more objective look?